planted him there. Then, and this is the last time I said, I'm probably gonna get off. Dave Free had a moment. He asked me. He said, he said, what are you getting from this? He says, is he paying you? And that was the most insulting thing and I had conversations with these men for a while. But the very idea that I was like a purchasable commodity was so disgusting. I reminded him, I said, I've been doing this for over 10 years. I've been doing this for over 15 years. How did you think I became me? I said, you knew about me before this shit. How did you think I became? Did you think I was a cheap hoe that just could be bought? That was the most insulting thing I could have heard, because his idea was, well, if you're not getting paid by this guy, if Drake ain't paying you, why do you lean that much in that direction? And I was like, huh? I've never gotten paid. Like, the people who I've defended the most, I've never gotten paid from. Now I have my platform benefited? Yeah, of course. But, again, like, we don't do pay for play. Like, you can't buy my opinion. I've always said, the moment you can buy my opinion, I don't matter. The moment you could buy my opinion, I don't matter. Y'all seen Lil Baby was one of my favorite artists. He was my top 3 artists. The nigga dissed me on his album, and I just had to do it. I went on a whole campaign against him. I didn't want to do that. But that's integrity. That's morals. I was getting money with QC. I could have said, well, fuck that. The money's too good. Fuck no. So, that was something that I was a little taken aback by, because I couldn't believe it. And I think Dave Free's a very intelligent guy. I couldn't believe he thought that I was getting paid to maybe have the opinions or the POV that I have. Like, I could be a pawn for Drake or anybody else. That just wouldn't happen. Nevertheless.
Hi, I'm Savvy Mike, and this is I Am Savvy My TV, and we got my nigga DJ Akademiks giving us he gave us a formal review of the Kendrick Lamar concert, the Kendrick Lamar Time SZA Stadium Tour concert, and he decided to pop up at the Detroit show tonight, or last night. But either way, he had an interesting review. While he said the crowd was lit in certain moments, they were definitely lit when Kendrick Lamar was out there, and they were lit when SZA was out there. It's just, he said it was up and down to it, but he thought the show was cool, I guess. But apparently, he had him. I guess they had found out he was there, and I think one of Kendrick Lamar's managers, and Dave Free wanted to have a talk with Ak and ask him some interesting questions. Let's listen.
So I'm like, nigga, I'm like, when am I gonna see this shit? Because this shit already passed Jersey. I'm like, shit, I'm gonna pick a date, which I picked this date, and I said, I'm about to go pop up there, nigga. My man told me, sometimes you gotta pop up and show niggas, so I just did it. I popped up and showed out. Let me see what's going on with the concert. Now, I ain't no funny shit. It's just that, again, nigga, at the end of the day, I wanna watch the show. Let me break down the show, because I showed up to the show. By the way, I flew in today after stream. I stopped stream at 1 o'clock, got on a plane at 3 o'clock. Yo, I'm good. 1 o'clock, I stopped streaming at 1 o'clock, get on a plane at 3 o'clock. I land at 5 o'clock, and by 6:30, I'm in the fucking stadium. I'm gonna be that bitch. Now, I'm gonna have to do a longer breakdown of, like, and again, this is just one stop. I've only been to one stop. I'm probably gonna pop up at other stops because I'm just that type of person. Even when I told you about the weekend shit, I'm gonna pop up again. I'm sorry, like, brother, I'm like a food critic, and the industry is food. Like, I'm sorry, I might just come to your restaurant. I don't give a fuck if you like me or not. I might write a review. So anyway, I'll tell you what I thought quickly about the show. Number one, it's a hard read on the crowd. I couldn't tell if it was a few things. I'm gonna be very fair. I couldn't tell if it was where I was sitting. Now, here's the thing. When I went to both the stadium joints, I went to the weekend shit, that was stadium, but I was in the riser. I'm closer to the stage. You also have to imagine niggas who's spending more money might be more, like, lit, enthusiastic. This time, because I don't want to be next to where none of them niggas is at, because I don't know if they fuck with me. I'm in a suite, my homie's suite, and yeah. So I don't know. It's hard to read the crowd, like, and I'm there. So I'm not getting nobody else's I don't got to be the person to talk about another person's experience. I'm gonna talk about my experience. The crowd is weird. What I mean the crowd is weird is that they're mad selective when they sing along. There's other times I'm looking at them, they're dead solid. They're just there. They're recording though. They're recording, but they're not singing along. And then there's moments they're super hyped. And it's like these, like, you keep going from these moments like this, and I'm like, I'm kind of sitting here watching it. But I'll start out by saying the first 20 minutes of Dot's performance, fire. And it's fire because he's doing songs back to back to back to back. So he's just rapid fire. And it's hits. Now, I went to go see the Miss Him Around tour. When I went to go see that tour, he was doing, like, this is why I said he was a great performer, because he was doing things that you don't see other artists do. I'm not saying he was going like second verse on every song, but like he was really performing some of these cuts, and it looked so well put together that it was still fire. He starts out the show and he's just banging it out. Da-da-da, da-da-da. Next song. Da-da-da, da-da-da. And yo, like Squabble Up comes on like pretty soon. He what's this shit called? The one with Mustard. He does that pretty soon. Like he does that in his first set. He comes out first. So I'm like, yo, this is a different type of, I've never seen this type of Dot. Because again, I'm used to Dot doing more of the slower but like integral, really well put together shit. This shit, everybody, it's like you have the crowd every 30 seconds. Bang, bang. So yeah, that shit was popping. SZA comes out. SZA come out. I was trying to do a BBL check, people. I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't shit. Come on, bro. I ain't shit. I was just like, nigga, I think I put the binoculars on. Could I see the BBL? But she was wearing some big as other. Anyway, yeah, I don't know too many SZA songs, so I can't even like. You see, it would be incorrect for me to comment on SZA songs, like, oh yeah, that's just whack, whatever. I could only comment on what I heard from the crowd. Right? They were happy to see her. She performed some songs. Again, same kind of hard to read a crowd, hot and cold. I don't know if it's like, it seems like they're watching a Broadway play at times because they're quiet, and then 2 minutes later or 2 seconds later they're like, because like there's an explosion moment or something. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know her music like that to really just say what it is. Also, I'll be honest with you, I was a little bit wrong. When I was starting to think, I don't think that crowd was a 1-to-1 SZA crowd. I low-key think it's a 2-to-1 Kendrick crowd, to be honest. Which makes sense. This is tour, even though she's a co-headliner. Because I'm going to be honest with you, the biggest moment is Kendrick's on stage. Like, yeah, they love SZA, and I could see some people singing their hearts out, but like the biggest moment, Dot's on stage. Got to be honest. Okay. After that, so we get Kendrick does like 25 or 30. Then SZA comes out, does like 20. Then Dot comes out, and this is like the odd part because he does like these medley type of, and performers do this, like Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe is like mixed with some other shit. Same with like I think Swimming Pools or some other stuff. Like he does it in a different way, and it's like a new version of only performances. And I'm gonna be honest with you, it's like the crowd, I'm looking at the crowd and they get hot and cold again. They're hot and cold. And that's like, that trips me out. And then SZA comes back out and it's kind of the same thing. And, I don't know. It's, it starts hot, it ends hot. But in the middle, you're kind of, and again, this could be a unfair thing, not only because where I was at, I'm up there in a suite, not down there by a riser, as opposed to the weekend. Like the weekend in Playboy Cardi shit, them niggas was lit from minute 1 to the fucking end. Like that shit was like something else. Don't want to compare both. but it could be where I was sitting. Yeah, it was high moments, dry moments, high moments, dry moments. Obviously, the big songs, whether it's a Like That or other songs, yeah, you get that. I will say, shout out to, I spoke to a few people. Because, listen, I'm up in the building. We spoke to, and we'll keep these conversations off the books right now. But we Anthony Saleh, which I think is a manager. I think he's a manager. Me and him, we actually chopped it up. You know, we actually sat down, we were talking until Euphoria came out. Euphoria, I was like, hold on, brother, I gotta listen to Euphoria. And then Dave Free popped up. And me and Dave Free, you know, that was the first conversation since pretty much 2022, I think. And, you know, at the end of the day, positive vibes. Clearly, you know, they have a POV. I got a different POV. Most of all, I think the conversation was, they were trying to see, like, yo, are we into it or we? And I'm like, nigga, at the end of the day, I'm doing my job here. You get what I'm saying? My opinion is going to lean a certain way because y'all know what type of music I like. But, you know, one thing I did agree with them with, you know, some of this shit should de-escalate. And, you know, whether it's fan influenced or whoever else has connected to it, if it's possible, especially when it brings in third parties and family or shit like that shit, there's no place for that. Not shit that I'm necessarily doing, because I don't give two fucks about, you know, talking about that. But at the end of the day, you know, I think there were respectful conversations. I think they understand my POV. Yeah, brother, at the end of the day, Drake my favorite artist. Like, my nigga, like, what do you I don't care if I show up here today or tomorrow, the next day. Cool. Now, I understand their POV too. Bro, at the end, you know, cool. You could kind of fall over that type of side when it comes to your music opinions. But, man, that battle been over, man. We not trying to keep digging holes where now people are, you know, people that ain't public with it. So, you know, we talking about like families, and don't bring families and shit like into it. So, other than that, good conversations, good concert. I enjoyed myself. Definitely enjoyed myself. What would I rate it out of 10? I don't know if I could give it a rating out of 10, but would I say it's you know, given the fact that it's on pace to be the biggest concert in the world? I get it. I will say, not the best concert I've been to. Be honest. Just being honest. And it's not being biased. Actually, I'm going to be honest with you. I actually think the Mr. Morale concert is better. But I'm going to be honest with you. I think there's so much hype behind Dot right now. It makes sense why, like, this is a stadium tour. I can't comment too much on SZA and her performance and all that type of stuff, because half the songs she performing I've never heard in my life. You know what I mean? Like, there's never been a time to be like, let's play SZA. I know 2 songs. Well, maybe 3. Be like I think Travis Scott's on that. And then the Snooze song, When I'm With You. Yeah, that song. And I think I may know another song. But anyway, Broken Clock or something. Anyway, pretty good concert, though. Pretty good concert. Planted in there. Then, and this is the last time I said, I'm probably going to get off. Dave Free had a moment. He asked me, he said, he said, what are you getting from this? He says, is he paying you? And that was the most insulting thing and I had conversations with these men for a while. But the very idea that I was like a purchasable commodity was so disgusting. I reminded him, I said, you know, I've been doing this for over 10 years. I've been doing this for over 15 years. How did you think I became me? I said, you knew about me before this shit. How did you think I became? Did you think I was a cheap hoe that just could be bought? That was the most insulting thing I could have heard, because his idea was, well, if you're not getting paid by this guy, if Drake ain't paying you, why do you lean that much in that direction? And I was like, huh? gotten, like, the people who I've defended the most, I've never gotten paid from. Now I have my platform benefited, yeah, of course. But again, like, we don't do pay for play. Like, you can't buy my opinion. I've always said, the moment you can buy my opinion, I don't matter. The moment you could buy my opinion, I don't matter. Y'all seen Lil Baby was one of my favorite artists. He was my top 3 artists. The nigga dissed me on his album, and I just had to do it. I went on a whole campaign against him. I didn't want to do that. But that's integrity. That's morals. I was getting money with QC. I could have said, well, fuck that. The money's too good. Fuck no. So, that was something that I was a little taken aback by, because I couldn't believe it. And I think Dave Free's a very intelligent guy. I couldn't believe he thought that I was getting paid to maybe have the opinions or the POV that I have. Like, I could be a pawn for Drake or anybody else. That just wouldn't happen. Nevertheless, there was some good conversations. I've gotten, I got Anthony's contact, and hopefully, I told him, I said, listen, throughout the battle, we probably definitely came off very biased, not only because I like Drake and he's my favorite rapper, and anytime my favorite rapper is going against another person, if he's my favorite rapper, I'm going to say my favorite rapper is going to win. But you guys lost communications with us at that time, because you, again, whether I preferred Drake or not, if you choose to not clear anything up, like today we're talking, they mentioned a few things I didn't know. But when you choose not to involve yourself in clarifying the narrative gets written without you. It always happens like that. I'm in the media. I know how it goes. So, hopefully, my stance won't change. Drake's my favorite rapper. It won't change ever. Okay. Even if me and Drake beefing, well, depending on what beef. Because when I hate a nigga, I really hate a nigga. But, yeah, there's no money that somebody could pay me to, like, make somebody else my favorite rapper. And I hope y'all know that. I'm just a person who like Drake. And his music. That's what I mean. His music. That's what I told you. I would, like, if y'all want me to be something else, I can't be something else. That's why I always saluted. I used to always say, my man DJ Ghost, I'm like, y'all want me to be a gangster. I can't be a gangster. I'm not a gangster. I can't give you an opinion of what somebody who's a gang member from LA would think. I can't. So you got to find somebody else to do it. So anyway, other than that, good show. Good. Again, I show up for a reason. I didn't think I showed up to particularly have the conversations that I had, but I was always willing. And if I wasn't willing, I wouldn't go live up in that bitch and show people I was there, and I could have dipped in and out, right? But nigga, you seen I wore every chain. Well, not every chain. I wore my chain. I came how I came, and we had conversations, and shit, everything's cool. So anyway, I'll try to pop out to another show, and hopefully I could, give a more nuanced perspective for the people who think that, I went there and I didn't get that experience. Okay. It's 12:23. I'm not sitting here and talking Diddy with y'all. I love y'all. I'm not. Okay, y'all gonna have to catch me on the stream, and when we break down the rest of the tweets from the afternoon session, which I missed, and also we got to catch up on the morning session, which is going to be tomorrow. So anyway, hopefully this was a little bit of an update on where the hell I've been, because I know so many people hit me like, yo, did something happen? Why'd you leave? No, nothing happened.
At the end of the day, do I feel like Drake is paying Ak? Of course not. No. Ak has been the biggest Drake fan for fucking years now. He's been the biggest Drake fan, the biggest Drake stan for years now. When Drake is in a rap battle with, like he said, anybody, it didn't matter. But specifically somebody like Kendrick Lamar, who people hold up as somebody who is better than Drake. at least rapping wise. Of course he's gonna root for his guy and do everything to push his guy's narrative, all that bullshit. So I don't think he was getting paid for it. I think they know he wasn't getting paid for it neither. I just think they wanted to confirm it. They want to be like, okay, we got to hear it out of his mouth, because he's pushing a lot of narratives that aren't really true. And instead of like trying to hit us up and be like, hey, what's up? Or they went dark on them. I'm sure Ack was hitting them up, but they didn't want to talk to him because they felt like he was on that side. So anything that they said to him would probably be leaked out to Drake. And they weren't wrong, to be honest. Ack was just trying to get more information for Drake. Trust me. That's all he was doing. And it's okay. That's what he's supposed to do as a fan. And yeah, look, I don't have no problem with it. I don't have no quorum with it. And sounds like Dave Free and Anthony, they didn't have no problem with it neither. They understood this was hip hop, this was entertainment, and Act just played the role that he had to play. So clearly it's cool around there. Now I don't know if it's cool with Ab Soul and them. You know what I mean? Good thing they didn't let Ab Soul know Act was here. But regardless of it, let me know what y'all think in the comments below. I am Savvy Mike in this. I am Savvy Mike TV. Peace.